Welcome back to Rock Your Best Vocals. Jim here, professional singer for over 30 years, professional vocal coach for over 20 years. We're going to do an exercise now to try and help you slowly, gradually get up through your break. The break is a real tough spot for guys. This is particularly for guys because we're going to start off on D4 and we're going to do a slow chromatic scale, note by note, just slowly climbing up there. What we're going to try to do throughout this exercise is keep it at a stable volume. Try not to lift into it. You might hear me, sometimes I'll crescendo into it to lift into it, but try to keep it stable. And when I'm lifting into it, crescendoing into it, I'm doing some things that I'll talk about as I'm doing it, because if you can do the things that I'm doing as you feel like this need to push through and crescendo, like to increase the volume through here, you can do that. But at first, we're just going to try and keep it stable. We're going to try and keep it stable. We're going to keep it light. And the reason for that is we're bringing a lightness up. We're not trying to bring his chest voice up. That just won't work. What I've found in my own career is that when I was singing like that, like, you know, pulling chest up and like, you know, it was very struggling. It was a strain. It was a lot of work. And singing does not have to be that hard. Do what I'm doing with me through here, and you'll start to see how you can start to smooth out your break if you do the things that I'm doing. Anyway, let's get started here. We're going to start off on D4. And throughout this, we're just going to try and keep it light. And I want you to feel like a yawn, just like this. Just make it real easy. Now, you can hold it out as long as you like. If I hold it out longer or you hold it out longer, doesn't really matter. All we're trying to do is just keep this position. If vibrato happens, great. If not, great. It doesn't matter. Vibrato actually happens a lot easier and naturally when you're singing light. So you might find that your vibrato is just happening because you're singing lighter. But think of this, yawn. We want a nice open throat. We want to have wide ribs through here. It's kind of like a position of an inhale. Now, you might be running out of breath a lot sooner than I am. The thing is, listen for the sound that you're making. If it's real breathy, like, you're just breathing out all the breath. You have to adduct the vocal folds. And I've got a video about vocal fold closure. I'll put it up there. That would be something to work on if you find that you're running out of breath really easily, because the vocal fold closure will help solve that problem. Why am I doing this with my hands, you may wonder? I'm trying to think of opening the throat. I'm also trying to think of expanding my ribs through this as I go through there. We're up at F now. This is anywhere D, F, G, all those places like that. Any of those notes, that could be where you're struggling, where your break goes from, okay, but when we're singing light like this, right? So that's see, vibrato was kind of happening on its own there. That's okay. It's okay if it doesn't. Doesn't really matter. As long as you're having a good time and trying to keep that same steady volume. One thing I like to think about when I'm doing these exercises and keeping it light, not only in these exercises, but sometimes even when I'm singing certain things that might be high and, kind of, up in that challenging spot, higher rock songs, I will try and think of pulling just a thread of air up through my vocal folds. That metaphor concept doesn't really work for everybody, but it works for a lot of people. So if you find yourself straining and struggling because you're trying to push up to, you're trying to yell your way through that, just try and think of keeping a yawn position of an inhale and pulling this thread up. Makes it a lot easier and lighter, and you're not pushing on your vocal folds. You're gently guiding this little stream of air up. Oh wait, where were we? Yeah, I think we were there. F sharp. Again, if your vocal folds are falling apart and it's real breathy, so we'll move up to G just to show you, just to demonstrate. I'm going to go from breathy to adducted. And I want you to really listen to what you're doing if you're running out of breath, and try to maybe emulate me to make that sound, to make your vocal folds brighter with the chord closure. I'm going to start breathy. It's very breathy, right? So I'm going to move to adducted. Do you hear that? So I'm kind of adding a little bit of tension here to try and tilt my larynx forward. That's the benefit of the yawn. Almost feels like I'm pushing that out intentionally. It's a weird feeling, but if you can get that feeling of you can go from breathy to kind of adducted to like super tilt, and you can kind of control that. So we've gone basically through most of where everybody's break is. We'll just go up to A. So you can see at the end, I was kind of pushing into it a little bit more. If you can lean into it, that's okay. You want to try and keep it steady. And that's the whole benefit of this exercise is we're trying to keep it steady, just at the same volume as we're moving up. And it can get squirrely, but that's just because you're training your support to keep that breath stabilized. And it can take some work to get there, but if you do this exercise every day, come back to this and do it every day, you'll start to see everything that I'm telling you in this will benefit you. Practice this daily, do it a few times a day. It's not that long of an exercise to do that, and you'll see that your break, you're going to be a lot smoother through your break because you've learned to coordinate the chord closure and support all through that area. Okay, so I hope this video has helped you. Let me know in the comments below how you found that. You can hit like and subscribe. You can join me on Patreon down below or become a member of the channel. Or there's a link down below if you want to work with me privately. So all that stuff out of the way. Looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Rock your best vocals where your best keeps getting better.